Have you ever witnessed a silence in a home so heavy it feels like a physical weight? A silence not of peace, but of unspoken war, where the battlefield is the bedroom and the quiet is a casualty list of intimacy. Why do some women, in the intricate and often unspoken language of a marriage, choose to close a door that was once wide open? What turns the marital bed, a place intended for ultimate vulnerability and connection, into a landscape of leverage and control? This isn't a simple question of desire or headaches or fatigue. It's deeper than that. It's a silent coded message sent across the divide of a king-sized mattress, a message that can unravel the very fabric of a partnership. We often talk about communication in relationships, about using our words, but what happens when the words stop and actions, or the withholding of actions, become the only language left? Let's venture into the complex territory of human psychology, specifically into an idea known as passive-aggressive behavior. This isn't about outright anger or open conflict. It's a more subtle form of hostility. It's the art of expressing negative feelings indirectly instead of openly. Imagine a partner who agrees to something with a smile, but their actions scream resentment. The forgotten chore, the accidental slight, or in this case, the consistent turning of a cold shoulder in bed. This isn't just about a lack of libido, it's a strategic retreat. It's a way of saying, I am angry, but I will not give you the satisfaction of a fight. Instead, I will make you feel my discontent in the silence, in the space between us. When a woman uses the bed as a weapon, she might be engaging in a profound act of passive aggression. She is expressing a grievance, perhaps a feeling of being unheard, unappreciated, or controlled in other areas of the marriage, by seizing control in one of the few domains where she feels she has the upper hand. Think of a woman, let's call her Sarah, married for a decade. Her husband, a good man in many ways, makes all the major financial decisions. He decides where they go on vacation, what car they buy, which school the kids attend. He doesn't do it maliciously. He genuinely believes he knows best. Sarah has voiced her desire for more partnership, for her opinion to carry equal weight, but her words seem to evaporate into thin air. She feels like a junior partner in her own life. So, the one place she can exert absolute authority, the one place her no is undeniable, is the bedroom. Her rejection is not about a lack of attraction. It is a desperate, albeit misguided, attempt to rebalance the scales of power. It's her way of saying, you may control the money and the plans, but in this space, I am sovereign. She is using the only currency she feels she has left. Is it fair? Is it healthy? Perhaps not. But can we understand the human impulse behind it? This brings us to a philosophical crossroad, one the existentialists often explored, the struggle for recognition. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre argued that much of human conflict arises from our deep-seated need to be seen and acknowledged by others, not as an object, but as a free, conscious being. When we feel objectified or rendered invisible, our very sense of self is threatened. Could it be that for some women, withholding intimacy is a radical act of self-preservation? A way to scream, see me, acknowledge my wants, my frustrations, my existence beyond the roles you've assigned me. In a world where her voice is muffled, the silence she creates in the bedroom becomes her megaphone. It's a flawed strategy, one that often breeds more resentment than understanding, but it is born from a fundamental human need to be recognized as an equal subject in the story of a shared life. So we are left with a paradox. An act designed to regain a sense of self can simultaneously erode the foundation of the UIS. It becomes a silent protest that punishes both the protester and the target. The husband feels rejected, confused, and often emasculated, unable to decipher the code behind her withdrawal. He may see it purely as a rejection of him, not as a symptom of a deeper marital imbalance. The chasm between them grows wider with every night spent on opposite sides of a cold war. He feels the lack of physical intimacy, while she feels the sting of emotional invisibility. They are both starving, just for different kinds of nourishment. The tragedy is that this weaponized intimacy rarely achieves its intended goal. It doesn't open a dialogue. It shuts one down. It creates a cycle of resentment where he feels punished and she feels unheard, both trapped in a painful feedback loop. It's like trying to demand a conversation by locking yourself in a soundproof room. The silence is loud, but the message gets lost in translation. We must ask ourselves, is it possible that this silent battle is a cry for help? A desperate signal that the normal channels of communication have failed so spectacularly that this is the only option left? It's not about a simple yes or no. It's about the years of unheard requests, the subtle dismissals, the slow erosion of partnership that leads a person to believe that their body is the last piece of ground they have to defend. What if we looked at this not as a weapon, but as a symptom of a relationship that is ailing, that is gasping for the oxygen of genuine communication and mutual respect? The coldness in the bed is merely the fever indicating a deeper infection in the soul of the marriage. And perhaps the only way to heal is not to demand entry or to build thicker walls, but to ask the question that should have been asked long ago. What is it that you're trying to tell me that you believe I cannot hear? This is not a justification, but an exploration, an attempt to understand the tangled roots of a painful and common dynamic. The act itself may seem cruel, but the motivation behind it is often a cry of profound human suffering. So, before casting judgment, perhaps we should look beyond the closed bedroom door and into the silent, unseen rooms of the heart where the real conflict is taking place. What unspoken truths do you think are being communicated when intimacy becomes a bargaining chip? If these questions about the hidden corners of the human mind and heart intrigue you, consider subscribing. We delve into the psychology and philosophy of our everyday lives, seeking not easy answers, but deeper understanding. Join the conversation.